This video is going to look and sound a little different than normal. We're going to focus on tariffs today. What I'd like to do is just start opening the conversation about my approach to being a small business owner in the United States right now. I own a video production company, and tariffs are certainly impacting my business. And also here on YouTube, I also share videos about tech and equipment here as well. And tariffs are also impacting the decisions I make here on this channel. So I just want to open up the conversation and I share with you what my personal experience is, and then also would like to hear from all of you what your experience with tariffs is, no matter where you live in the world. But either way, at the end of the day, I want to keep my business open and I want to continue creating videos here on YouTube. So I'm going to be open about my approach and the way that I'm planning for the future. So without further ado, let's talk tariffs. First, let's figure out where all of the main camera companies and tech companies operate out of. Now, I'm not going to be able to cover all of them today, but I am going to cover the main ones that I talk about here on this channel. And in turn, these are the products that I use in my video production business. And I'm looking down at my computer now. Canon manufactures their products in Japan, Taiwan, China, and the United States. Sony is in Japan, China, South Korea, Thailand, Malaysia, and the UK. Fujifilm, Japan, China, the US, the Netherlands, the Philippines. Panasonic, Japan, China, Thailand, Malaysia, India, and other countries. And hopping over to Apple, a majority of Apple's manufacturing and assembly happens in China, although they are expanding those manufacturing areas now, Rode. So we're skipping over to audio now. Rode manufactures out of Australia. DJI manufactures only out of China. Now, in the United States, we're starting to see tariff receipts online. And what happens is if you're ordering products specifically from China, you're going to see a very large surcharge, and that's your tariff charge before you can receive a product. Now, in all of these examples that I provided, DJI is really the one company I think that we're seeing the biggest impact. So we're already seeing the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, the pricing on that piece of gear double. Anything that is manufactured and shipped to the United States from DJI, it's coming from China. So according to my personal experience, that's really where I'm seeing things hit the most. Now, all of the other manufacturers that I named, excluding Rode is exclusively out of Australia. These companies manufacture, assemble, and ship from all sorts of different companies around the world. But if you're in the US right now, the hard thing is that there doesn't seem to be a clear plan or strategy for these tariffs. We know the tariffs are here, but I'm seeing news announcements this morning that the tariff for Chinese imports from China are going to go from 125% to 70%. But at the end of the day, we are really not sure. Not only that, but when tariffs are adjusted, we really don't see the impact for weeks or maybe months into the future. Everything just kind of has to trickle down, because what these manufacturers have to do is they have to adjust where they're shipping from. And again, I am focusing specifically on the US, even though I do think that this will impact this type of manufacturing worldwide. But this is the kind of stuff that I'm just educating myself on. I want to see, where these manufacturers do produce their products from, and then that does weigh in and impact my buying decisions. Apart from educating myself on where these items are being manufactured and shipped from, and also, whatever my personal purchasing decisions are, we're starting to see other things happen in the market. And these are my best guesses. I don't know if these things are going to come true, but this is kind of what I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating for there to be delays in product launches and releases. I think there's going to be delays in inventory. We're going to start to see new products really sell out. I also think that prices are going to go up, whether tariffs directly impact those products or not. Once a competitor raises their prices, well, everybody else is also going to raise their prices. The main reason I think this, and I'm anticipating this, is because these large-sized companies have to make adjustments. If they're manufacturing out of China and they typically ship out of China into the United States, well, they're going to probably have to change that supply route. Maybe they're shipping to another country like India and then shipping to us. The reason why I think this is because of the reports that are already coming out of Apple. I'm not a news reporter. I'm not an investigator or anything like that, but I'm just trying to stay educated as we navigate these choppy tariff waters. And as a result, I do think that we're going to see decreased inventory here in the US, if not long term, then maybe for a short amount of time. I think that these large manufacturers like Sony, Canon, Fuji, they might push these releases out even further because of the market and whatever the market can handle. If they're raising their prices here in the US to cover the cost of tariffs, which is what they're going to do, can people afford? Like, how many people? The supply and demand is going to be impacted. So either way, these are the types of things I'm thinking about. They're the types of things that I'm anticipating. And at the end of the day, how does this impact my video production business? And also, how is this going to impact the items that I cover on this channel? But before I start to dive deeper into these topics, I'd like to know from you, what are you experiencing? What are your thoughts right now? What are you thinking about when it comes to tariffs? Generally speaking, it's hard to pin it down because the news continues to change every single day. There doesn't seem like there's a strategy for this tariff rollout. It's 125% one day for China tariffs, and then the next day it might be 70%. And so because of the fluctuation and because of the uncertainty, it is difficult to try to plan ahead. So I'm curious to know what you all are thinking and feeling, how this is impacting your business, or even if you're a hobbyist, how this is impacting your purchase decisions. Let me know in the comments below. Again, I'd like for this to be an open conversation, sharing with you kind of what I'm thinking and feeling, and I'd also like to hear from you what you're thinking and feeling. As far as this YouTube channel goes, I do plan on continuing to cover the way that I use tech in my everyday video production workflow. I think that this is a real opportunity to kind of revisit the tech that I already have and see if I can push it even further. How can I get the most out of my iPhone cameras? How can I get the most out of the microphones that I've been using for 5 years, or the audio equipment that I have? So I do want to continue to cover those items. The kind of sticky part for me is that I do make money on this channel through affiliate links. Any of the links that you click on in my description based on the items that I cover in this video, I do earn a commission. It's a very small amount, but nonetheless, I do earn a commission on those items. And what I'd like to do is continue to do that, but there's never any pressure to use those affiliate links. They do help me. They help this channel. They help support this channel monetarily. Also, a lot of you just want a link to the product because you want to look at it or research it further. But I think by opening the conversation about tariffs and understanding that the price could be higher, a video that I put out a year ago, that price for the equipment that I covered a year ago or 2 years ago is probably going to be higher now. So this is one reason why I do want to open up this conversation and just be open and honest about pricing and about the equipment I use, all while being sensitive to whatever your budgets are. So just, be smart about your budget. If I probably won't buy anything new for a while. I just at least want to see where these tariffs are going and where they ultimately land. It's ultimately up to you. It's your decision. And also I am a US-based business owner and YouTuber. So my tariff experience may be different than what you are experiencing in a different country around the world. So I do continue to plan on using affiliate links, but I do want to be open about what that means to all of you as the supporters and consumers on this channel. And if you do decide to click on those links and use them, then the conversation is always open, and please don't ever feel pressured to click on those links. As for my video production company, I do have some concerns. I'll go over those here in a minute, but I'm kind of taking the same approach. I don't plan on purchasing anything new right now, which isn't really great for the economy or for these businesses, but that's what I plan on doing. I do feel like I have all the gear that I absolutely need right now to service my clients. So unless I absolutely need a piece of gear, I'm probably not going to buy it until later on down the road when I kind of see where these tariffs are going to land. Additionally, if any new products come out, again, I do think that those are probably going to be delayed. I do think that we're going to see some delays there, but I also don't feel an urgency to upgrade what I have. I have 4K cameras, I have great audio gear and lighting gear. I feel like I can get by with what I have. And let me know if your sentiment is similar. Do you feel like you're also not going to make purchases for a while? That's kind of my plan for now, at least until figure out what's going on. Now, I do have a concern about my clients. Now, although I feel like I have the gear and the equipment and the knowledge and the know-how to service my clients, I am noticing that some of my clients want to start tapering back. And oftentimes the first thing to go is a marketing budget or a video production budget or anything like that. I also live in Las Vegas, and we're already starting to see some of our tourism numbers decrease. It is going to impact everything, everyone, all of us at some point in time, at least until we have a clearer picture. Again, I sound like a broken record, but a clear picture of where we're going to land with these tariffs and how it's really going to impact the way we do business. So I am keeping an eye on that. If I have to purchase gear that's more expensive, I'm going to have to raise my prices, and I'm not sure that that small business owners will be able to afford that. So I do have a concern about that. So far, the clients that I have, I'm maintaining those relationships, but that means right now, if I were in a position where I felt like I needed to raise prices, I don't think I feel comfortable doing that right now. I think that I'll keep things steady. We'll kind of see where everything lands. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to stick with what I have, and I'm only going to offer services based on the equipment that I have. So I'm not going to plan too far in the future, maybe book something out in the fall or the winter that might require a purchase of some sort. I'm probably going to hold off on doing that right now. I probably won't take on that work because there's a risk there. There's a risk about having the specific gear that I need to get the job done. So, I know I'm just kind of brainstorming a lot here, but honestly, this is where I'm at right now with my business in speaking with my clients and other business owners. This is the sentiment right now. This is what I'm doing to plan. And right now, planning means just kind of holding steady and sticking with what I have so that hopefully soon I'll be able to kind of get a clear picture as to what's going to happen long term. So let me know again in the comments below how you're doing in terms of tariffs, especially if you are US based. If you're located elsewhere in the world, what are your questions? What are you thinking about? What are you seeing where you live? I'd love to know that in the comments as well. But that's it for this week's video. Thanks as always for tuning in. Next week, I'll get back to some tech-based videos. But I do plan on sprinkling these tariff conversations into the channel because I think it's worth us all talking about it and helping each other with a solution that at the end of the day keeps us in business. So again, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you again in next week's video.